Thank you all for taking the time to see what's new with Earth's damage prevention mobile app. So I have a lot of information to share with you. And like Sherry mentioned earlier, this is interactive. So if you do have any questions, feel free to add those. We do have some polls towards the end that we'll be asking as well. But let's go ahead and get started. So first, again, my name is Ashley. I've been with Irth for almost 3 years now, but I've also worked in product management in the areas of healthcare in addition to damage prevention. And at Irth, my goal is really to bridge the gap between the business needs of the company, the user experience, and then our technical development teams to really make sure that we're building the right solutions and really providing value to our customers. We have a few areas that we're going through today, starting with why we're even focusing on an app and a little bit of history about where we've been in this journey. We'll tell how it's going so far. I do have a demo to share with you as well. And then as well as where we're going, some innovative ideas that we have, our transition strategy from our Utilisford Classic app to our new app, as well as a high-level view of our roadmap and how we're looking to gather feedback and continuing to do so while the app is available. And then some resources to share with you as well that will really help you in that transition. But first, I want to give just an overview of Irth and the journey that we're looking to take. Starting with damage prevention, we're really focusing on coordinating between our asset owners and excavators to provide safe environment and avoid any damage to assets. Then with our asset integrity platform, those really provide an analysis of both integrity and risk to support the infrastructure, asset health, and its performance. And then lastly, with our land management platform, this more so focuses on land rights management, stakeholder engagement, and compliance. And then there's multiple features that we utilize to achieve those goals. And really focusing on enhancing asset performance and resilience is the main goal of Irth. Specifically speaking to damage prevention, there's a major challenge within the industry that I'm sure you're aware of, where underground utility networks by nature just are difficult to locate and track because, of course, they're underground. And there needs to be a way to communicate the location of those underground facilities to ensure that those assets aren't damaged when breaking ground. And Irth solves this problem by keeping the public safe. That includes both the locators as well as the communities that they serve. Monitoring threats to our customers' networks are just one way that we do that, as well as providing adaptive insights of detecting the emerging problems, addressing those issues early, while also allowing for quick navigation for field locators while using our platforms. Now, at the bottom, you'll see just a really high level of the workflow, starting with a call being received, whether that's from an excavator or homeowner, triage and dispatching happening at the one call, the locator marking the ticket, and then sending the response back to the one call center. And again, a very high level of that workflow, but that's what we're looking to achieve here. But why an app? So when speaking with our customers, they really want to have mobility within the field. And because of the lack of a connectivity in certain areas, offline functionality is critical to that. But then also making sure that users are aware of any changes that happen, like emergency tickets. They need to have an option such as like push notifications or other types of alerts, as well as integration with the different hardware that they're using. Of course, we want to maintain compliance and reporting with the reliable app and providing an intuitive user experience. But why redesign it now? So our goal there is to address any technological limitations. Also, we've received some user feedback based on our initial launch that we wanted to address, as well as being a leader in innovation. So I'm excited to share with you some ways that we're looking to do that. And I wanted to also point out Earth's mission and our vision. So I touched on this before, but we really want to enhance asset performance and resilience with data-driven insights. And our products allow us to do that across the scope, where we're delivering reliable, intuitive mobile experiences that restore trust, enhance functionality, and seamlessly transition our customers to a stable and future-ready app. Now here's a little bit of history about where we've been. So on the left, you see our classic utilisphere. And if you're familiar with this app, you know that there is a manual sync function where both the map and the task list are on separate views. So the user has to toggle back and forth to see their location versus the list of the work that they need to do. And it is an older user experience in that it isn't as modern with the features of what someone may expect when using a mobile app. And so our first phase of this launch was with our Earth app. And that's where we launched it with an async feature, as well as a combined map view. So the view that you see right now is the initial view of the ticket details, where there is a map view at the top, and it has the details of that ticket in the bottom. And then there's also a little bit more modern than our previous classic version, as well as adding an offline functionality. Now here's where we are in more of like a Utilisphere 1.5, where our user home screen has a widget that act more like filters. They tell location with the weather, the current state, as well as the messaging. And then we also have both tickets and work items that are available in a summary view as one task list. We also combine in the split view where the user can see the map of all of their sites for the day as well, or all of their assignments, and then an outbox feature. I do want to point out that the app is currently only available on iOS and Android, and it supports the two most recent OS versions. That includes both phones and tablets. So when it comes to devices, as long as iOS and Android support those devices, that is what we are able to support. The features that are currently available are ticket management, as well as a combined ticket feature and routing. So I will show routing in the demo today. And then coming soon, a little bit of what I'll share is our action bar as well as our work items and how that looks. And then future state, we will have our Windows desktop available. All right, so let's jump into the demo. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Okay, so you can see that the filters that I was referring to as those widgets are in the top. There's also a help center if you wanted to access our information for support or diagnostic logs, as well as the weather, the messaging. Future state, we will allow for configuration of messaging by company administrators. So if you wanted to quickly inform your teams of an update, you'd be able to do that. But the latest update has a newer version of the footer. So we are on the home screen currently, and then I can navigate to my tasks. And that's where I can see the larger map view, and the tasks that I have assigned to myself are kind of all over the country. But the goal there is to show you how you can see the map view in a pin format. And then you can also navigate to both your work items and your tickets by scrolling on the bottom of the screen. So you can see what's assigned to me. Now you can make the screen larger if you like. There's also the filters at the top where I can access those and add different filters that I want to utilize and apply those. I also have different ways of sorting at the top. Okay, I do want to show you the way that you can complete bulk actions. So I just selected the ellipsis on the top right, and then if I select the option of select tasks, there's a little lasso on the left. And now I see the options on the left where I can select these. And if I wanted to create a route for myself, then I can select the Get Route option, and it would load the routing. Now I'm pretty far away from these locations, but if I wanted to drive there, I could click on the initial task and I can get directions. And now this actually navigates me to the default app on my phone. And so my default app is Google Maps, and so that's why this showed. But I can also navigate back to the app when I'm done. I can also complete other actions if I wanted to, but we're gonna take a step back here. Now you'll see on the bottom, I still have those two tasks selected, but if I wanted to complete any other batch actions, such as changing the assignee or changing a folder, adding notes, then I'd be able to do that as well. So we're going to take a step out of that. Now I do have the options here when I select a work item. I can update the work item. I can complete different types of actions there. So if I wanted to leave a comment, or formerly known as a note, I can move to a different folder. The directions option is what we just saw, and I can share it with others as well as reassign. And again, these are also bulk actions that can be done. If I wanted to take a picture, I can do that. And you'll see the counter increase on the bottom, and that's because it's just capturing the different photos that I'm taking. And if I wanted to continue, I can add those. And because I have the selection to add it to my gallery, I will select don't allow for this one. But I have the option if I wanted to add those photos to the gallery at the same time that they're being added to my phone. So I will take a step back and now go back to my task list. You'll also notice this option in the bottom right, this little like squiggly route line. So that's if I wanted to go back to the route and navigate through that, then I can do that as well. So now we're going to go to this now option. So this is a version of our time tracking feature where if I wanted to track my time against a task, then I can do that. I can take a break, I can end my day, and all of that would be captured within the timesheet. So this is showing where I had started my day. I can also take a look at yesterday. And so I did test this out yesterday, so you can see where I had taken a break, where I had ended my day, I had started work on a task, and ended the day as well.
I'm just going to interrupt you, Ashley. I have seen some people raise their hands, but we can't unmute audience members, unfortunately, with our GoToWebinar settings. But if you have any questions, just enter them in the chat. There's a question pane to the right. that you can enter questions. And a few of you have used that as well. So just enter in your questions on the right, and then we can get to them.
Yes. Are there any questions related to what I've shared so far? If not, it might be something that I address in a little bit.
Not yet. I will interrupt you. Don't worry.
Okay, great. Thank you. So moving on,
Oh,
we have our notifications, which also has an outbox where the items go to. And then
sorry,
lastly,
we
we
do.
have
I'm interrupting now. We do have a few little questions that have come in. So Heather asked, what version is this that you're showing right now?
so this is actually a version that is not available yet. We're in an internal beta testing phase, and then we are also going to do an external beta phase, which tests both the ticket management and the work item features together. And if you'd like to be a part of that, we will send a link post a webinar where you can sign up to participate.
Yes. And then Gabrielle asked, where or will these instructions be sent out to share with our field operators? I assume instructions for how to use the app.
Mm-hmm. Well, I believe that's her question. But if
Yeah.
that is her question, we do have our Earth training platform. So I'll get to that in just a moment, where I will show how you will be able to share different trainings with them. We currently have 3 trainings available regarding the app, like an overview of the app, a comparison of the classic app to the new app, as well as our routing feature, because we have an optimized version as well as more of like a manual routing. And because those are all like newer features, we really want to provide you with the resources available there. So we have the links for that. And Sherry, we can go ahead and share those links in the post webinar email as well.
Yes. Okay, we have a flurry of questions, so you might just want to take a look at the question pane, Ashley.
Okay.
A lot of good questions. Yeah. Can you can you see it on your screen, or do you want me to
I
say them?
can't. Oh yes, I see. Is there an additional cost to use the newer app when it goes live? No, it is not additional cost. So you will be able to access the newer app just like you're able to access the classic app. I see a few questions, so I'm just going to scan. I see them coming in.
And I'm going to write them down and send them to the chat too to help you out.
Yeah, I do see a few questions. One asks, can you use imagery in the map area? I'm not sure I understand what you mean by imagery. And that might be a question that we can take offline. There may be a few of these that we can take offline as far as the actual usage of the app. Yeah, I think that might be best. Okay. So for those, I wanted to share one more thing, and that is what it looks like to actually respond to an item. So I've gone into the details of this specific task, and you'll see the action bar at the bottom, and I selected the respond. Now I can see the form, all of the fields associated with it. I can complete those. And this is all a test form, so I just wanted to share what this will look like and kind of navigating through it. And then as soon as you're done, you can go ahead and submit. Now, because this is my test app, I want to continue to keep my tests here, but you will receive a notification that this submission was saved to the outbox. I also wanted to share with you what it will look like if I wanted to create a work item. Oh, it's not showing for me. That's okay. So I wanted to share with you again the respond options. And the last piece that I wanted to share with you as far as the details are concerned are is this navigation in the middle of the screen. So you'll see that the details are available, so you're able to scroll down and see remarks. If there's any locate information, if there's any smart scores available, you can see that, as well as any ticket custom property information. So all of that would be available. If there are any notes, attachments, any related items, or the history would be the same as the audit, you'd be able to see that. Okay. All right. I'm going to go back to the presentation. And I teased it a little bit before where I mentioned that we had an initial launch as well as a relaunch. So the initial launch is where we had just released the ticket management feature, and we received a lot of feedback about the app and how users were able to navigate. And you'll see that even the login screen looks different. So with the relaunch, we have a rebranding where the Irth app you'll see will be just called Irth Utilisphere. And you'll see that the home screen has been some changes made to it as well. But there are also a lot of architectural updates that we're making to really support this. And so I have George, who will be able to provide more information of the technical updates. So George is one of our leads with our technical team, and he will dive into what we're really working on to provide a stable app.
All right. Can everybody hear me fine? I hope. So we want to talk
Yes.
about, yes, thank you. We want to talk about three primary approaches that we're taking in architecture. But before that, I probably should introduce myself a little bit. Some of you may not be familiar with me, but I've been with Irth for a little while now. I've been primarily focused on the Irth training part of our company, and then recently have been moved over to the Utilisphere web team. So I'm helping the web team organize themselves to get our new web front end user experience out. So you may be seeing and hearing from me a little bit more often in the future. As far as the mobile is concerned, we really want to talk a little bit about architecture. Just give you a brief overview of what we're trying to accomplish and some of the knocks and good things that we're experiencing. The architecture that we've embraced at this point is one that's it's going to be effective with a highly varied environment, meaning that we're trying to make sure the mobile application is hardened for every different type of device that it can be effective on. As a result, in general, it works well, but we have one area that we're focused on more than others, and that is to make sure that our offline presence is very solid and it syncs well when the application does come back online. In general, we have that working, but we're trying to harden it so that on each device, we're effectively making it work based on the resources that you have available on your device. Things like battery management and memory management are two big things on the list. So that's our big thing. We're very focused on that. As we go through our beta, any input will be appreciated in that realm, but we're really going to focus and make sure that your offline experience is both trustworthy and comfortable. The second thing we're focused on is the camera experience. We're making sure that we can tailor the camera experience based on the device that you're using more effectively. And that will lead to things like being able to make sure that your attachments and things of that you want to save can be done so optimally and easily. In order to do that, we're going to make sure that we're working hard to be able to get a sense of the device that the application is working on. So I don't want to get into too much detail there, but I'm willing to do so if others have questions relative to that. But it's just boring. So it's not that I don't want to tell you, it's just boring details. So as far as that's concerned, we're going to work very hard to make sure that's the case. That's the focus of the architecture. Um, and that covers the 3 points there.
Thank you,
That's
George.
You're welcome.
Yeah, that was great. And if we do have any questions there, we've been scrolling the chat and the questions options, and I haven't seen any yet about this related to what you just mentioned with architectural updates. But again, we will continue to communicate these changes as we're making them. This is just the first of many webinars that we will be doing. So you will continue to receive updates as we move through. Okay, so I do want to share a little bit about where we're going. So again, linking back to our vision, we really want to innovate when it comes to a damage prevention space and really push the boundary in that providing something that is enhancing of the functionality, seamlessly transitioning our customers so that you have a great user experience with that. And I'm going to move from left to right. So starting on the left, the first item you'll see where it's called handoff. So this is actually referring to the connection between our full web environment and our mobile app. We know that a lot of our field locators use Toughbooks and other versions of laptops within their trucks. The goal here is that if someone is viewing a task within full web environment and then they want to leave their truck to go take pictures and mark the locate, they will start with their Toughbook, open the task, and then take their phone, open the camera, and scan over this QR code, and then it will open the next screen on the right. And this is directly making things more seamless where you don't have to open the app, you don't have to navigate then to the task, it'll open for you. You'll see this is a completely new view than what I just shared with you in the demo. And that's where we are looking to bring our insights more to the forefront. You can see from top to bottom, this is just some of the information that we're looking to share. Definitely can vary from this, but starting with risk. So if there is any information that we want to inform our locators of, in this case, it's that there's copper pipes nearby. Then they can see a map view of where they are in space in relation to the location site, and then maybe even any previous comments that were left related to this task. Now, navigating to the right, you'll see that there is a map view. And this is where we're really trying to push it with our map functionality, bringing everything together, whether that is measuring tools, being able to draw on the map, color different areas, leave annotations, and making it really easy for someone to complete the mark, adding whatever notes and details they want to add, and then move on to the next one. Now from there, if you want to communicate with your team members, we're looking at exploring the usage of a chat feature. And this is helping us to be compliant with various regulations and states, but also really addresses the problem where your locators cannot reach an excavator. Maybe they have a question for them, need additional information. Right now, they may have to call them. They might be able to send a text message or an email. But either way, it's very difficult to reach that person. And then also, it's not documented anywhere unless someone is manually doing that. The goal of our chat feature is to allow for that one-on-one communication, but also have documentation then linked to that ticket. So then if that ticket is ever audited, you'd have that evidence for you. And then lastly, this more so enhances a feature on the OS systems where live activities are available without a user having to go to an app. So you'll see that in the bottom, there is the uh, address of the location, but then in the top right, if a user had our time tracking feature enabled, they would just be able to start work from there without having to go to the app. So these are just some of the enhancements that we're looking to explore. Now, as far as a transition strategy, we're really looking to have a three-pronged approach here, where we're starting with champions, so customers who we would like to be partners with us in this transition. Again, your feedback is really helpful to us as we are continuing to make enhancements as well as addressing any issues. And we want to really partner with different customers in that at every level. And then we want this to be a warm transfer of a transition. So we have a small Tiger team that is looking to guide customers during the transition process. You will be notified well in advance of any transition period. So we will continue to keep you updated with that. But we'll also be providing you with those supplemental resources that I mentioned before from our Earth training platform, as well as FAQs and our knowledge base to really help you with that training that you may need for your team. And we want to make sure that you feel valued and heard. So I know that there are a lot of questions in the options here, but in case we're not able to address them here, we can always reach out to you later, or you can reach out to us to make sure that we are connecting and addressing the issues. We're also monitoring our progress closely with our metrics. So whether that's support cases, app reviews, our crash rate, we're looking at everything from every angle to make sure that we are providing an enhanced experience for your teams.
Hey, Ashley, we have a couple questions I think Lindsay has marked as good questions to answer live. So are you ready for those?
Yes.
Couple questions? Okay. Let's see. Are videos able to be attached to the tickets upon a completed mark out or just photos?
As of right now, just photos, but really soon, so within the next few months, we will have the ability for videos to be attached.
Okay. And then I think there was, oh, no, it's already been answered. Okay. Carry on. And
Okay.
hopefully you guys I thank you for everyone. I'm glad I recruited someone to help me answer all the questions that you guys have submitted. I hope you can see the answer and the response. I've been trying to publish to all. So hopefully you guys are able to look at everyone's questions and responses.
Yes, definitely a team effort. Thank you. Right now you're viewing our roadmap. So this is a little bit about where we've been and then where we're looking to go. So you'll see that currently we are working on our work items. So that's that internal beta program that I mentioned before. Then we have our time tracking features. We're also looking to have notifications as well. And then those mapping enhancements. We will be targeting our patrols. So for anyone who is a patrol customer, we're looking to address those. And then messaging and chat. Now, as far as specific dates, we'll be communicating those as we're moving closer to those items launching. But that's where definitely make sure that you have everything enabled so that we can reach out to you and provide you with those updates. A lot of them will be either in our product updates as well as our newsletters. And we have a monthly newsletter. Now, as far as feedback, we are looking to have dedicated time using office hours to guide in the app usage. So this would be best practices. And now this would be outside of any support cases that you would be reporting. This will be if you are like, I think I am not using the map as good as I should be, or I'm having trouble with this particular area and I think I could move faster. That's where we'd be giving you that app, that guidance through your workflows. We'll also make sure as far as syncing that those folders and filters are working appropriately, like all of that. If you are experiencing any just issues where too many items are syncing down to the app and you really want to streamline that, that's where we can help you. Also, if you have any suggestions, maybe if the camera workflow isn't exactly what you want it to be, or it's not optimal, then we'll definitely take that feedback into account. We've been working closely with our customer success team to make sure that we are addressing feedback, that we are planning for things, reaching out for additional information, just to make sure that we understand your workflows before making any changes. And I did want to bring just a little bit of light to our customer support agents, because they work so hard to make sure that they are available, as well as addressing any issues and escalating them appropriately. So the goal of our support team is really to resolve any issues that our users are experiencing efficiently. They really try to reproduce and escalate those bugs, but sometimes they may be limited in the tooling to impersonate users and see what exactly is happening. And then sometimes they're also not able to replicate context, and we're really working to provide them with as many tools as possible. But they are here for you. So if you have any issues that you're experiencing, please do not hesitate to call or email them. They really want to make your experience great with our platforms. And it's not just with our mobile app, of course, that's with all of our platforms. Now, resources. I did mention this a little bit earlier, but we do have a knowledge base that's available on Freshdesk, and that is available to all of our users, where you can see product updates, and this is where you can actually subscribe to receive a notification whenever updates are posted. We also have setup instructions, and then we also have FAQs. So FAQs are questions that we get all of the time. We do update our FAQ documents. So if you may not know exactly what to do in an area, and you're like, well, maybe somebody else had that question, that'd be a great place to reference. And then I also mentioned our Irth training content. So Irth training, again, is another Irth platform where you can view content, and these are just some of the pieces of content that we have available. And we are continuing to increase our library, as well as update the content that we already have. I also wanted to slide in here a couple of the upcoming webinars that my colleagues are hosting. So one of them is actually tomorrow, and that is about our new risk platform for asset integrity. So just in case you're interested, we will be providing you with the links post webinar in that email. So we'll have a lot of information to share with you in that email. And then another one is our land management platform, and that will be next week. Feel free to sign up for those to see more about what's going on at Irth. And that is it. So thank you all for your time. I'm going to do one more scan to see if there are any questions that may not have been answered.
There's quite a few questions that Lindsay marked for George to answer. George, are you still available?
Sure.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you see the question pane on to the right?
I can, but I don't see any questions in it. I think it's, oh, I take it back. Now I see them.
Oh. Like,
Now I
are
see
you sure?
them.
Okay, because there's a few assigned to you, so I don't know if you want me to read them out or if you wanted to read the question.
No, I could see them. I could say them. I'll start with Patrick's there with the iPad
right.
version. I'll
Okay.
check with the team on that, Patrick. I believe, let me take that back to the team and make sure that they are doing that, but I believe that's going to be the case. It is typical that that's the case. So if it isn't working there, I'll bring that back to the team and make sure that there will be an option for it in private profile mode. Or if there's not, I'll get back and make sure that there's a reason for that.
That is correct. We do have that on the roadmap to allow for profile viewing of the app.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I want to iterate because I don't think everyone can see the question. So it says on the iPad version, it only seems to work in landscape. Will there be an option to use it in profile? So that says you're saying it is on the roadmap to create a profile option for iPad.
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Okay, so on the Android phones, so this is a question from Robert. On Android phones, the app is a bit laggy at times. It's more of a statement, but we are Robert, we are aware of some of the lag on this, and that goes to the point that I was making earlier with the architecture. We're really trying to work harder to manage the memory better and the battery better, and the combination of those can sometimes cause a laggy performance. So that is a primary focus of ours. Thank you for bringing it to our attention, and we'll continue. If you continue to have that experience, please continue to let us know. We're working on that. From Robert Jones, I work for a pipeline company and we use the measuring tool on the computer. Will this be on the new app at all? That's a good question for you, Ashley. I'm not sure if that's in the, where that is in the backlog. I don't want to say backlog,
Yes.
but
On the roadmap. Yes, that is a part of the mapping feature that I mentioned on the roadmap. I'm not sure if I'll add that as a screenshot, but I did put that as an option for the new mapping tool. That is all a part of those features, is that users will be able to measure on the map as well.
And one more from Robert Silvera. On my Android phone, when you go to take the picture, the image is blurry, but when you look at the picture, it's clear. Okay, I need to take that back. I was not aware of that one. And I don't know that you were either, Ashley, but I'll take that back to the team and make sure that.
Yeah, we are closely examining the differences that users are experiencing between iOS and Android. And like George had mentioned, making sure that we have enhancements that align for those, that both user experiences are optimal.
And by that, just a little clarification. When you look at it on your phone, it's clear, but when you look at it once it's in the application, it's blurry. If I'm understanding that correctly, please.
I thought that it was that when he's taking the picture, it could be blurry, but when he's actually viewing it,
It's clear.
It's clear. Like the
So
picture to the server is clear.
Okay.
Thank you for that, Robert.
Another question, is this product for utility locators or for 811 centers?
Locators.
Okay. I thought that'd be an easy question, but I didn't. I'm learning, so I didn't know the answer to that. Locators, okay.
Any others?
We just had a new one coming from Joseph. At the top, locating is a common duty for a utility I support. Today, multiple users can log into one user ID /password to locate tickets in a geographical area. Will the new app support that business model?
I'll need to check on that because I was not familiar with multiple users using one user ID and password.
Yeah, did you know that was happening?
No,
yeah, we
I was
might not
aware.
have known that was happening, so might not know to support it. Yeah, so that's interesting. I'm curious why someone would do that, honestly, but yeah, that's interesting.
Yes. I did see some questions about the chat functionality, and saying the chat functionality you guys talked about would also allow for excavator to locator communication. Yes. So the goal is that it would have both team communication one-on-one as well as excavator to locator communication. And the excavator to locator communication being then linked to a specific ticket. I know a lot of questions are coming in. On the mobile app, how can you identify a standby ticket that has been closed as ongoing business opposed to a ticket that has not been closed yet and not responded to? There is an ongoing option, so like a ticket can be open or state. It would be open, ongoing, closed. So there are different states to support that. But I do think that it's worth diving more into your workflow to make sure that we're addressing that. All great questions. And those would be great questions as well for our office hours to make sure that we are addressing those. Okay. And that's all I had. Thank you, Sherry. I'll hand it back over to you.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys. Thank you for your time and attention.